Okay, so I had this video made and edited earlier today. I came home on my lunch, I made this video, edited it, I was about to post it, but when I got home, it came to my attention that Rise of the Resistance had a delayed opening today, a severely delayed opening. The boarding passes went out at 7 a.m. and the attraction didn't start admitting guests until 2 p.m. today. A 7-hour delayed opening, just about. My God. So by the time I realized it, it was 4:20 and they were up to boarding group 55. They're normally at 55 before noon at some point. That is a big yikes. Not everyone is going to experience the attraction today. And as of me filming this a little bit right now at 6 o'clock, they are only on boarding group 88. And the park closes at, I think, 9 o'clock. The park closes at 8 o'clock today, guys. 2 more hours, and they're only on group 88, when they've been getting up to the 140s and 150s most days. That is a big yikes. There's going to be a lot of guest recovery going on at Hollywood Studios today for Rise of the Resistance. If you guys think that anybody you know would benefit from the information in this video, then please be sure to share this video with them. Tag them on Facebook, link them on Twitter, link them on Instagram, whatever you guys want to do on social media. Share this video around and save a life, because this is information that everyone needs to know. So if you guys clicked on this video, then you probably already know what Rise of the Resistance is. For those of you who don't know, however, Rise of the Resistance is the newest attraction to open at Walt Disney World here in Florida and Disneyland over in California. Now, I have made several videos on Rise of the Resistance in the past, and you can find those videos down in the description below. I've done a full POV video, I've done my full review, and I've also talked about the boarding groups for Rise of the Resistance. And if anything else changes with the boarding groups, I'll be sure to let you guys know. In this video, we are going to be discussing some problems that Rise of the Resistance is having, and a bit of a warning that I have for you guys before you travel out to either Disneyland or Walt Disney World on a vacation hoping to ride Rise of the Resistance. So, in case you guys have been living under a rock over the last month and a half or so, Rise of the Resistance is the latest and greatest attraction to open at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And my God, I have to say, it's been met with rave reviews from everybody, including me. I cannot praise this attraction high enough. So for those of you guys who do not know, in order to experience Rise of the Resistance, you need to make a little bit of a sacrifice when it comes to your vacation and your sleep schedule. If you do plan on experiencing Rise of the Resistance, you need to wake up at the butt crack of dawn. You need to be at Hollywood Studios about 30 minutes before park opens, and that is inside the park. You cannot simply show up at the park about 30 minutes prior to park opening. You need to be physically inside the park. Now, recently, Hollywood Studios has been opening at 7 a.m. and 7 a.m. is exactly when all the boarding groups are distributed for Rise of the Resistance. It is essentially a lottery system, and you can ask anyone who's been there and anyone who's experienced a version at Disneyland. It is essentially a lottery system. It is anyone's guess as to what boarding group you're going to get. Everyone is there at the same time trying the same thing you are. You can either be lucky and get an early boarding group that's single digit, or you can get a double digit boarding group, or even worse, a triple digit boarding group, and no one wants that. So, you get to Hollywood Studios or Disneyland early in the morning, and you're there at about 6 o'clock-ish, and you're wanting to ride Rise of the Resistance. You are only there one day. You travel from out of state, or you travel from very far away, even out of country, hoping to experience Rise of the Resistance. I just want you to picture this right now in your head. So, imagine you're there with your family. You get there 6 o'clock in the morning, you get inside the park, 7 a.m., the boarding groups go live. You do everything you can, you watch my video that I'm going to link up in the corner below to hopefully guarantee yourself an earlier boarding group. You do everything possible correctly. So you get your boarding group, you get roughly boarding group between 25 and 40. That's still a pretty decent enough boarding group. You'll be lucky to get on the attraction about noon, 1 o'clock-ish, if not before that, if the ride is running smoothly. This is where the issues come in. So imagine this, you're only there at Hollywood Studios for one day. This is your one time to ride Rise of the Resistance. You're unable to come back anytime in the near future to experience this attraction. So your boarding group finally gets called. You go into the attraction queue. So you're inside the Resistance base and you're walking through and you're ready. You've already read up on the ride. You know what to expect. You've seen the promotional images. You know that you need to somehow end up in that first order hangar. Now, you're wondering, how am I going to get to this Imperial hangar? How am I going to get to the first order hangar? you get escorted through an emergency exit. You go from the Resistance base through a door backstage where there is no theming and into an emergency exit, and boom, you are inside the First Order hangar. How, what, why are you there? How did you get there? What is the story behind that? That's just one issue. You're missing half the story right there. You're missing pre-show, and you're missing the interplanetary transport system part of the attraction to get you onto the actual hangar itself. Now, you go through that. You're ready to accept that. Okay, whatever. Something happened. If you're okay with that, so you proceed through the rest of the queue inside the First Order Star Destroyer. You get in your ride vehicle. You start going through, and you notice that there's something missing. You hear something about an Imperial Pro Droid, but you don't see an Imperial Pro Droid. Okay, you proceed further on through the attraction. You get to where you see Kylo Ren's animatronic and General Hux' animatronic. General Hux, he's all good and dandy. He's moving, he's articulating, he's talking. Kylo Ren, stiff as a board. Just standing there, doing nothing. Okay, you proceed on further. You get to where you're supposed to come face to face with Kylo Ren. It's another animatronic, a fantastic animatronic. It could be done a little bit better, but it's still a fantastic animatronic. You don't see the animatronic. You see Kylo Ren outside in the screen in his little TIE Interceptor. Alright? So here's what I want you to imagine. Waiting that long, waking up that early, anticipating this attraction that you have heard rave reviews about. All your friends, all your family have already been there, and they're telling you this is the greatest attraction they've ever been on. The greatest attraction that Disney's ever made. You make the trek out there from out of state, out of country, and you get there and you are cheated out of the entire experience. That is what people are going through. Disney is sending people into Rise the Resistance and only giving them half, if that, much of the experience. There are people who are going through the attraction who are not going into the pre-show room where you see Rey. They are not going into the interplanetary transport system ship where you launch from Batuu, go into space, being escorted by Resistance pilots and Poe Dameron, and you are missing being captured by the First Order and being caught in a tractor beam and being brought inside of the Star Destroyer. Missing the entire story elements. The entire point of the attraction is for you to get captured by the First Order and to escape the Star Destroyer. And people are missing that. How? How is this a thing? Why is Disney doing that? At what point do you close the attraction down? Because this attraction is so... there are no other words to describe it other than amazing. This attraction is amazing. I want everybody to experience this attraction the way it is intended to be experienced. And there are people who are posting online about their experience and how they are being cheated out of the attraction. Sometimes not even being reimbursed or given a return fast pass to come back at a later time or date when everything is fully functioning. How is this happening? There are people who are going through and being brought in through a back entrance into the First Order hangar bay with no story given whatsoever as to how they got there, why they're there, what they're supposed to be doing. And then, to top everything off, they get onto the attraction, the animatronics are either missing or not working properly. Now, for one of the Kylo Ren animatronics, there is a proper B mode for it, where if the animatronic is not working, you can see Kylo Ren outside on a screen in his little TIE Interceptor, and you still pretty much get most of the story, minus the one interesting part of that scene that I'm not going to spoil. But there is another Kylo animatronic that you see earlier on where he is up on a higher level where he's standing next to General Hux. Most of the time, I have yet to see General Hux animatronic have that big of an issue. But the Kylo Ren animatronic, that's been having issues for whatever reason, and that has been going down. Now, if you get through the entire experience and you are able to go into the pre-show and get captured by the First Order and brought into the hangar bay, that's all good and dandy. And if for some reason that animatronic is down, I'm willing to accept that. However, if you are traveling out to Walt Disney World or Disneyland, when you get to Rise the Resistance, you need to make sure you need to make sure that you ask one of the cast members out front, or find one of the higher up cast members is somewhere in land management and operations or something, and ask them if there are any issues with the attraction. Are all the animatronics working? Is the pre-show working? And you need to ask them right then and there. If they are not working, then you need to ask them what animatronics are not working, and you need to ask them if the pre-show is working. If for any reason they say that the pre-show is not working and they are having to use an alternate entrance into the first order hangar bay, then you need to either not ride the attraction at all, because you will be missing out on half the experience right there, or you need to ask them for a return time to come back later. Because if your boarding group gets called and those two things are not working, the pre-show and the transport vehicle is not working, then you're missing out on half the experience. Get a return time, ask for a fast pass, talk to whoever you need to not get cheated out of this experience, because Disney is cheating people out of this experience. Granted, it's not happening often, and I know you guys are already down in the comment section below. Adrian, this is a very complex attraction, a lot of moving parts, there are a lot of things integrated into this attraction. I get that. And I understand, downtimes are going to happen, things are going to go wrong, certain parts of the ride are not working. But when the biggest parts of the ride that complete the experience are not working, that is where I have my issue. And that is where Disney is doing wrong by their guests who are doing their best to ride this attraction. And Disney is hyping this up as the best attraction ever, which it is. But for them to willingly put their guests through half the experience and call it a day is absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. And that is the warning that I have for you guys today. When you come to Florida or to Disneyland to experience Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, you need to make sure that everything is working prior to walking through that queue. And if they are not working, then you need to find out if there is going to be any effort made to fix those issues during the day, or find a way to get a return pass for later. Because I do not want you guys to experience this attraction for the first time and get cheated out of this experience. It just can't happen. This is not the kind of experience that you can get cheated out of. It's one thing if you're riding Expedition Everest and the Yeti is in its B mode and it's just stationary. That's fine. That's been like that for years. Years it's been like that. But for this attraction to open up and to make the promises that it does of being the single most immersive attraction ever created by Disney and the most complex attraction ever created by Disney, it needs to live up to that hype. And if you're going to hype it up that much, you need to live up to that. And you need to Disney needs to know when to draw the line and just close the attraction down to get whatever it needs to get fixed. I know that it is a complex attraction and things are going to go wrong, but know when to close your ride. Guys, if you're watching this video, do not settle for less with this attraction. Ultimately, it is up to you guys whether or not you want to spend the entire day at Hollywood Studios waiting for this attraction and wanting to get half the experience. It's totally up to you. But if you get into the attraction and you know that you're only going to get half the experience, then please do not settle for less. I know this video kinda ended up turning into a rant, and I am sorry about that, guys, but this is something that I just could not sleep on. I've been trying to make this video for a while, trying to find time in my schedule to actually stand here and talk to you guys and get this video edited for you guys, but if I wait any longer, I fear that this is just going to happen more and more often. This needs to be brought to everyone's attention, that Disney is willing and able to send guests through a half-assed attraction and cheat guests out of an experience that they are promised, that people are flying out of state, out of country for, and planning their entire vacations around this attraction, and Disney is cheating them out of the experience, and that is something that I am not cool with. I am very much not okay with what Disney is doing with this attraction. When it is working properly, it is the greatest attraction that you will ever ride to date. It's the greatest attraction I've ever been on to date, and I'm sure it'll be the same for you. So when you go to Hollywood Studios, be aware that this is something that is going on. It is happening. If you are lucky enough to get an early boarding group, most likely you will be fine, because it's around in the middle of the day when things start to go wrong. If you are in a later boarding group, before you go into the queue, be sure to ask any of the cast members what's working, what's not. Is the full experience going to be offered today? If not, find a way to get a return pass for later on in the afternoon or evening, or find a way to come back another day, because you do not deserve to be cheated out of this experience. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I know it was a little ranty, but it is something that I needed to get out to you guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. If you've ridden Rise the Resistance, let me know down in the comment section below what your experience was. If you were ever cheated out of anything in the experience, let me know down in the comment section below. We need to warn people that this is a thing. Granted, it's not happening every single day, but it is happening. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you are all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, and evening, and I will see you guys in the next video.